Okay, hi, I'm Chris from Coast Oxygen in Terrigal. I'm a chiropractor. I run a business called Chiroflexion as well, and we have an oxygen chamber at 12 Campbell Crescent in Terrigal. Now, people often wonder what a hyperbaric chamber is and what's oxygen therapy. So basically, when we breathe, we're taking out about 21% oxygen out of the environment. That dissolves in our blood system, which is carried by the red blood cells, the hemoglobin, but it can only carry 3% throughout the body, and particularly to areas that can get good circulation and oxygenation. With oxygen therapy, what you're doing is you're going in a hyperbaric environment, which basically means you're compressing the gas into the whole liquid in your body, which is the plasma. So the capacity to carry oxygen then multiplies by a factor of at least 20 times more concentrated, traveling to all the glands and organs and muscles and tissues and accelerating the healing and the recovery and the regeneration. And so what happens is you go into the hyperbaric chamber, and once you're in there, it compresses you to the equivalence of a 4-meter dive, or 1.35 atmospheric pressure. That is actually the same amount of pressure that is experienced when you're in the fetal stage in the womb. It's the same pressure on your body and your head in the amniotic fluid. Which is really comfortable. So it's called Mild Hyperbaric Oxygen Therapy, or Mild HBOT. In the chamber, you're in there for about an hour to an hour and a half. Half the time I go in there, and it's very relaxing, so it's very easy to drift off. And the 10 minutes you're in there, as you close your eyes, you wake up and it's been 2 or 3 hours in there, just totally relaxed and regenerated. And an hour of sleep in the hyperbaric chamber equals the equivalent of 4 hours of sleep otherwise. So for people who lack sleep, who have sleep apnea, who have a hangover or a jet lag, it's great because it gets rid of that brain fog. As the oxygen reaches your brain at much higher concentrations than usual, then it's getting rid of all the toxicity, it's alkalizing the body, it's increasing the speed of healing. It's got a regenerative nature to it. So it detoxes, it's anti-aging, it stimulates the brain and the body to release stem cells, which are like blank cells that the body is able to use for whatever it needs to use. It's a blank cell, so it'll use it for whatever it needs to regenerate. So good for Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, MS. I mean, it's just helps in the recovery and speeds the healing for those sort of things. So anything to do with brain damage, brain injury, strokes, anywhere where there's hypoxia or lack of circulation, it's just going to penetrate that area and increase the amount of oxygen so the body can regenerate and heal much faster. So every time you're doing it, it's done on a consecutive sort of sequence. So you either do it daily or twice a day or once a week, depends on the condition you're in. So on one side of the spectrum, you know, if you want to heal a condition, you've just come out of a triple bypass or an operation, or you're suffering with one of those conditions like MS or Parkinson's or brain damage, etc., etc. On the other side of the spectrum, the wellness spectrum, where you're actually using it to slow down the aging process, to minimize cellular damage, the damage that occurs due to oxidative stress. And talking about stress, it lowers stress down, so the cortisol level and the adrenaline in your blood goes down. Usually when I have a session, and I usually do it before I go to sleep, I have the best night's sleeps that night. So I go in there and I just sleep like a baby because it just supports the body, supports your adrenals. It gets rid of all the toxins, it gets rid of all the cortisol that the body releases when it's under stress, and it just gives the body a chance to really recover and really rest, and you wake up feeling wonderful and alive. For sports people who use it pre and post their sports event, obviously it's going to speed up the healing of the injuries they get while, like for MMA fighters and footy players, it's just going to increase the regenerative ability and give them more stamina. Anyway, the list of benefits from the oxygen therapy is so wide and so huge because It's not doing anything. It's not an invasive therapy. It's not putting anything in your body or taking anything out in an invasive way. All it's doing is giving you the molecule, the number one molecule, the nutrient that your body needs most, which is oxygen. And during the fires that we've had in November, December, there was a lot of people that were struggling with breathing problems, asthmatics, people with conditions to do with just the ability to absorb oxygen, etc., etc. Even now with this coronavirus, conditions related to that. Anything to do with the lungs, it's just going to open up that space and allow more oxygen, which allows more healing, which allows acceleration of recovery from any condition possible. So on one hand, it's boosting your immune system. On the other hand, it's detoxifying and releasing stem cells that it's going to help with the regeneration. So how much is a session? So normally it's about $75 for an hour session. I sell them in packages. There's no use just having one session unless you just want to tick that off your bucket list and just like, yep, I've tried the hyperbaric chamber. It works out at about $50 roughly. If you buy 2, you get 1 free, or if you buy 6, you get 4 free. So it works out about $45 to $50 a session. And most people actually enjoy it. The thing I get most from people who are in there is like, wow, was that an hour? It just felt like really quick, because you're relaxed, you know, and you're in a comfortable environment. You're normally lying on a mattress with a pillow, with an oxygen mask on your face, absorbing and breathing the oxygen into your body. The only people that seem to be minding the hyperbaric chamber, and I'm amazed how many people out there are claustrophobic, is people who don't like confined spaces. Okay, it's not as bad as an MRI where you have to be like really still in one position. You can move around, you can sit up, you can read a book, you can watch a movie, you can play on your mobile phone, you could go to sleep, or just listen to a podcast or a meditation, or just focus on your breathing. Whatever you know you want to do. Like I said, when I go in there, I just instantly, now it's like a hypnosis, I just relax and I start watching a movie, and then all of a sudden my eyelids get heavy. I put the phone down and I just literally fall asleep for 2 or 3 hours and wake up really refreshed and ready to go to bed. So unless you're claustrophobic or you have a lung condition, like an acute inflammatory lung condition like pleurisy or pneumonia, you don't want to go in an oxygen environment, because it's like fanning the fire. It's just going to increase the inflammation. Whereas with chronic conditions, it reduces the inflammation, it reduces the pain, good for swelling, good for arthritic conditions, or any inflammatory condition, particularly post-operative type of situations where your body's still in recovery and you need that little bit of a turbocharge, that boost to and it's such a pleasant and relaxing experience to have. If you have any questions, of course, please ask. Just write me your questions. There's a lot of people with many questions. Sometimes people say, isn't oxygen toxic for you? Well, it's not, because again, you're only taking in a mild, this is called a mild hyperbaric oxygen therapy. So you're breathing in 95% oxygen, and it's not really toxic at that amount for a short period of time, obviously. There's really hardly any contraindications to using hyperbaric oxygen therapy. As I said, the worst is if you're claustrophobic and you get an anxiety attack in there, and all it takes is 30 seconds to unzip the whole thing and get you out. But you're also in control of the zipper process and the decompression and the compression, so it's not like you're stuck in there for hours. What else can I tell you about hyperbaric oxygen therapy? It's like a secret weapon. Whatever therapy you're doing, whether it is taking herbs or vitamins, or you're seeing a chiropractor to realign your spine, or whether you're an athlete or a swimmer, or just somebody who really values their health and looks after their body as a really valuable instrument, the hyperbaric chamber and oxygen therapy is going to support whatever process you're going through, whether it's from illness to wellness, or it's from wellness and maintenance of that wellness for whatever time span you want to maintain it. This magical, amazing secret weapon goes beyond, imagination. The only thing you need is time and patience, so you can go in and breathe the oxygen, And you feel it. Sometimes people come out giggling and laughing, and I'm going, what's going on? Like, this is not laughing gas, this is not nitrogen oxide. But it just raises the level of endorphins and oxytocin and serotonin. All the happy hormones, all the good hormones in your body go up, all the bad hormones go down. Cortisol, adrenaline, noradrenaline, all the stress hormones that contribute to excessive aging, inflammation, degeneration in the body are down, and the good hormones, what we call DOSI, dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphin levels will go up, and that's what we want to see. We want to reduce aging. We're all living longer, but that doesn't mean, you know, we're healthier. It's just longer, but we're, you know, relying on drugs and technology. This is one of the best natural things that you can do for yourself. Just breathing pure oxygen, easy to have, easy to administer. You can buy one, you can have one at home. And when I get patients with cancer, for example, I usually say to them, look, you know, you can use mine, or you can just buy your own. There's always, you can buy them from a company here in Australia. The price for them is about $23,000, but you always find a second-hand one on Gumtree, or, you know, on a website where it's being sold for $10,000, $12,000. So, you know, I mean, if I had cancer or a life-threatening disease or an autoimmune disease, this is what I would do. I would just buy one and I'd live in it literally day and night. I'll do an hour in the morning, an hour at night, twice a day for a period of 3 to 6 months, and bang, you know, my body will heal and regenerate. The body doesn't need to, you know, too much. It's a self-regulating, self-healing organism. You don't need to do too much to it. You just need to give it as much chance for it to heal and remove the obstacles out of the way. And certainly oxygen therapy is removing all those obstacles, the toxins in your body, the oxidative stress, the congestion in your blood where there's no circulation going to certain tissues, muscles, organs, particularly the brain. So the benefits way outweigh, if there is any, you know, contraindications or negatives. There's hardly any. But you've got to try it to believe it, and those who do try it and become addicted to it, it's really addictive, because you just get this hit of wonderfulness. You know, you just feel your body's come alive again, like it's brand new. It's been cleansed and regenerated, and you would just walk out of there. And obviously, the more you do it, it's got a compounding effect, just like everything. It increases and multiplies and compounds. So I've got a few people using it. One of my biggest regrets is that I don't have more people using it, because it's sitting there most of the time idling, doing nothing. So apart from me using it and offering it to friends for, you know, pretty much for free, just so that they can get the benefits and spread the word. But if you want to give it a try, give me a call. Look up Coast Oxygen in Terrigal. Look up Chiroflexion in Terrigal. As I said, I'm a chiropractor. I've been practicing for 30 years, and this has been the perfect complement to my work, where I see a patient and work on their body and increase the circulation and the movement in their spine, and then we put them in the hyperbaric chamber so they can flood that with oxygen and speed the healing by probably a factor of 10 times faster. That's all I have to say. If you have any more questions, go to the website, give me a call, and we can talk. Thank you very much.